boys and girls, to Rockstar Journeys, where you're the star of the various journeys upon which we hitherto partake. Your host, Deacon Beacon and Jenny G. Ready to share with you this week's fantabulous adventure. Drum roll, please. Brrr. The Mediterranean Cruise we told you about 8 months ago. We're finally getting around to doing it. Why did it take so long? Trip of a lifetime, right?
Trip of a lifetime, that's right.
So it took a lifetime to put together.
That's right. Yep.
Sorry for the delay, folks, but it's going to be worth it. Beautiful Mediterranean cruise that cruise between October 19th and 28th of 2025. And what we decided to do is we're going to give you lots of good points on this along the way here, instead of just doing the regular sightseeing thing. This is the Norwegian Cruise Line that we went on. Everything's already done for you. They give you an itinerary, especially if you do it the budget half off thing that we got through the casino host, which you can get a number of ways. We can talk about that later too. But basically you end up getting the airfare for free. So they're going to schedule it the way that saves them the most money. So you're going to have several transfers on the way over. And just to make sure we're going to not miss the bus, we called the agent and said, look, book us in instead of the 19th. We're coming in the same day, getting off the plane, going on the boat. You're going to have jet lag anyway. You're not even going to know where you're at. So come in a day early, and worked out perfectly because it turns out Jennifer really liked this little hotel, Ciutat de Sant Adria in Barcelona. Right, Jennifer?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
It was a very nice guy.
Very nice.
Shout out to Stefan there. I went on my little Agoda app, which is the one I've been using lately to save money. $80 for this little place. It was a few miles away from the port itself, so it wasn't right on the water like a lot of these super expensive. Those ones that are right on the water, you're talking about $4.50 a night. Okay, forget it. $80 a night. Hotel Ciutat de Sant Adria. And shout out to Stefan there, the manager. I figured for sure, $80, they're going to see these Americans come in and say, oh, you forgot about this $100 fee and that $100 fee. No. Not an extra dollar. Nothing, not even a key deposit. We get in there. The place is very modest. You can see the picture. But, you know, it was a very cute little room. It had its own private bath. Little TV in there. Everything's in Spanish. But, hey, we're in Spain.
Right.
Actually, one channel did have English on it there, I remember. But anyway, it's just super nice. And it does allow you to get over the jet lag. Hint, travel tip number 1 on this one, definitely arrive a day earlier if you're going that far around to start your cruise. It's a 10-day cruise, and what's one extra day, okay? Especially if you can get a bargain room like that. So it allowed us time in the morning to get a SIM card for our phones, because we had to do that because our service wasn't good in Europe, which a lot of services, some do, some don't. So we saved some money. We saved a lot of money by not taking a cab from the airport to that hotel. We used public transportation. We took a combination of the bus from the airport, the train in the central area that the bus dropped us at, the downtown area basically of Barcelona, and we got to the hotel. Anyway, take off. The first stop the next day is Cannes, okay, in France, and you're going to see these pictures behind us as we go. And so here's travel tip number 2. When you're on these cruises, they have all this travel itinerary place. The concierge will be happy to book their pre-booked tours for you, so that when you arrive in all these ports, you can get on a tour bus with everybody else and go see the main attraction of whatever part of Europe you're in this case. And they offered us an opportunity. One of the places I've always wanted to see, because I'm a guy and I grew up with James Bond movies, I wanted to see Monaco, where James Bond makes his introduction playing Baccarat, lighting up a cigarette. Bond, James Bond, the coolest guy you've ever seen, and the coolest moment of any spy film. And I wanted to go be in the Monaco casino in Monte Carlo just like he was. And guess what? We decided, instead of paying $275 a piece to take the Norwegian Cruise Line bus tour from Cannes to Monaco and do the day trip that they were having planned, I noticed for myself when I look at the map, which is on everybody's phone, hey, there's a train station right there when you get off the boat. Well, it's about a mile away from where you get off the boat, but it's pretty close. And look, I can book our own tickets. I know how to buy a train ticket, even in a foreign language. I can read a map and say, I'm going here. I want to pay $30 for her and me to go round, okay, it's $30 each way. So $60 instead of $275 that they're going to charge you if you take their pre-planned excursions. This is what we did all along the way. And I tell you what, if you got a brain, and I don't want to be herded in like sheep to their little tour buses either. So anyway, Cannes beautiful. That's where they have this film festival every year. And I've always wanted to see Nice. As a matter of fact, when you were younger, didn't you tell me you wanted to go because it was so...
Nice. Nice. Nice is nice, and he said, one of these days I'm going to take you to Nice.
That's true.
Yeah,
long ago, when we were both just kids, we looked at the map and she goes, that looks nice. I go, well, it's actually pronounced Nice, and one day I'll take you there. So it's 100 years later, there we go, we end up, and we got some pictures there to show you. And it ended up being a drizzly day in Monaco, and what I was really looking forward to is having a couple cocktails with the view of the beautiful harbor that they have there with all the luxury. I mean, you're not going to see more luxury yachts in one place than you are in that little harbor in Monaco. You know, Princess Grace, the whole story there. But it was drizzly, cold, and there weren't any really, if there were any cafes, they weren't putting their tables out because it was kind of drizzly and weird that day. But we did walk around and be prepared to hike Mount Everest there because it's just, from that harbor, it's straight up the side of the cliff to get to where the casino is. And we had a great time doing that, and here's some of the film along the coast there. You'll see the lovely view going back and forth between Cannes, Monaco, and back. It's a railway that runs right along the coast the entire way. Breathtaking. Highly recommend it. And then the next day, we ended up in a port called Livorno in Italy, which was the highlight of the tour for us because while everybody else decided to go on the day trip either to Pisa or Florence, west-facing beach, so the point is you can watch the sun go down on the water, unlike some of these other places. And we took advantage of that. There's the Grand Hotel in Livorno that was an old private mansion residence, 200 rooms, one of these palaces right on the beach there. They converted to the Grand Hotel. We had the happy hour there, you can see, facing over the water. And then there's that Piazza Mascagni right there with the beautiful architecture and the west-facing beach with the sun going down is where we did one of our sunset concerts. And those of you who know me more closely since the pandemic and everything shut down and I wasn't able to play with the band anymore, too many places were closed, I did my own little thing where I would just take my little box down to the beach and make our own concert. This is what we've been doing ever since, and what a beautiful place to do it. And look at us having a great time there.
Yeah, you and me, this is not a competition. You and me, this is not a definition. For you and me, we agree, reaching for the alien shore, reaching for the alien shore. Yes, reaching for the alien shore. That's right, we're in Italia, baby.
On the way back, and it's one of the few ports where they let us come in after 5 o'clock in the evening, so we were able to stay out late. And we were leaving around, it was starting to get dark around 9:30, 10. Coming back on the bus that we took to get to where that plaza was from the port, we ran into a couple people that were from the same cruise as we were. I asked them where were they from. They said Alabama, and for some reason I was already in a singing mood because we just did this concert down by the beach. A sweet home Alabama.
Yeah.
And guess what happened?
Oh, we just all broke out in song. Everybody started singing the song on there, and what else happened?
Everybody on the bus.
Everybody on the bus.
I mean, we're talking like we had a few Americans in the front that were going back to the port, and everybody else in that bus was Italian. It was a pretty good sized bus. You're talking about maybe 30, 40, 50 people on the bus. And before I knew it, everybody on the bus was singing Sweet Home Alabama. And it was at a very high level. I mean, the bus was rocking. If you can only imagine this bus full of Italians singing Sweet Home Alabama, it was the most magical moment of the tour for me. It was because it was just so totally unexpected. For one thing, I didn't realize that many Italians, especially the younger ones, mostly young people on the bus, they all knew Sweet Home Alabama. And that's like, wow! American culture reaches around the world. On its 250th anniversary of our country, is proud to be an American, like we all should be. And shame on you if you're not. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in to Rockstar Journeys, where you're the star of the various journeys upon which we hitherto partake. Next week, it's going to be a very special one because it's after 11 years of absence, we're going to be seeing my favorite band,
My favorite band.
Rush.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll!
See you there.